I made a huge mistake. It's been around a year since I left my data analysis job for good, because back then I thought it would be a good idea to leave my six-figure soul-sucking job to follow my dreams and pursue my passion, so I would never have to work a day in my life again, as they say, right? Wrong. Honestly, looking back at this year, I just realized what the fuck I've actually done by quitting my data analysis job to become a YouTuber. I often ask myself, was my data analysis job actually a dream job? Did I regret quitting? And is being a traveling creator not what I hoped it would be? And maybe is this whole YouTube thing not what I expected it to be, and now I need to go back to my data analysis job with my tail between my legs? But to answer those questions, I need to explain both the pros and cons of both my data analysis job and being a YouTuber. But you also need to understand why I became a data analyst in the first place. See, I graduated university in industrial engineering and management. Why?
Why not?
No, but honestly, at that time I had no clue what I wanted to do, and this study just sounded interesting. The only thing I did know was that I don't want to work in an office for the rest of my life, but I had no idea what an alternative could be. So I decided to pursue a traditional career path and grew my way into becoming a data analyst. And I became good at it, and eventually became a freelance data analyst, so I had a little bit of autonomy and a decent pay, but still, it didn't feel right. I knew this wasn't something I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Why? Because I quickly realized this job wasn't aligned with my core values in life, being freedom, creativity, adventure, family, health, and wealth, in no particular order. Freedom, because I worked for an employer. The company I worked for determined when and where I need to work. I couldn't just take an afternoon off because I felt like playing football with my future kid, or go to the cinema on a Tuesday morning because I feel like it, or just work from Bali for a month. As long as you work for someone else, you'll never be truly free. And then there's creativity, or the lack of, should I say. Because although I could express a little bit of my creativity through dashboards and reports, I lacked the storytelling aspect of it. In no way could I express my personality or my own stories in a creative way. The dashboards and reports were just a representation of data and numbers, but not a representation of me and my story. Then there's adventure. I mean, do I really need to explain this one? I mean, there's a whole world out there to explore and so many cool experiences waiting for you outside of the office environment. Then there's family, and it's really simple. Time spent at the office working is time not spent with your family. And it doesn't mean I would rather spend every single minute of the rest of my life with just my family, but it means that I want to work whenever I want to work, and if I want to spend time with my family, I want to be able to spend time with my family and not be stuck at an office because I have to. And the same applies for the next one, health. Time spent behind a desk working is time you could have spent on working out, going on a hike, on a morning walk, doing some yoga and stretches or whatever. Combine that with the fact that your typical IT job requires you to sit for 8 hours a day behind your desk staring at a screen inside. It's not the most healthy environment for you. And then the last one, wealth. As long as you need to trade your time for money, you will never be truly wealthy. Although I was making well over 6 figures per year, I was still exchanging my hours in a day for money. As soon as I had to take a day off, if I was sick or I wanted to go on a holiday or whatever, I had zero income. I was being compensated for the amount of hours I put into work, rather than the value I provide. And I just thought there were much better ways to provide value to the world that are also aligned with my other core values. And I know when you hear it like this, how my job wasn't aligned with my core values, it might sound like a no-brainer why I quit my job. But it's not that simple, because data analysis has actually brought me a lot of valuable stuff in my life. I mean, it brought me enough income to save for a buffer so I could quit my job and start traveling the world and give YouTube a shot. It also taught me invaluable analytical skills that I use in my day-to-day life, even today. I even used it to grow my YouTube channel. More on that later. So I definitely don't regret becoming a data analyst. The only thing I do regret is not becoming a data analyst faster. It took me a couple of years of messing around in Excel before I actually took the step to work with some more serious data analysis tools like SQL and Python. Because this could have saved me literally years before becoming a freelance data analyst and eventually pursuing something completely different in the end. And a great resource to become really good at SQL is learnsql.com. Back when I started learning SQL, there weren't many resources you could use. There were some YouTube videos and a couple of online courses, and that's about it. So it took me way too much time to learn SQL properly, And as I said, I underestimated how important SQL actually was to taking the next step in my data analysis career. But if you want to learn SQL, I would recommend checking out learnsql.com. They have a set of over 65 hands-on SQL courses, and it's a 100% online experience. No need to install anything on your device. It's all in the browser. All learnsql.com courses are interactive and based on real-life business scenarios, meaning you'll be writing SQL queries and seeing the results instantly. And they offer certifications after completing their courses, so that you can share it on LinkedIn for recruiters to see. And yes, learnsql.com reached out to me to sponsor this video, but I've said yes before because I checked out their platform, I went through the courses and concluded that this is exactly what I needed when I was going through my data analysis career. So of course I'm going to recommend it to you if it's going to help you in your data analysis career. Plus, they're letting me give away a great offer if you click on the link in the description and choose one of their learning paths in SQL, PostgreSQL, or T-SQL. But okay, back to why I quit data analysis. Now it sounds like it's so awesome, so why did I quit it? And do I regret it? And well, as I explained, it wasn't aligned with my core values, and I thought YouTube would be. And after a year of traveling the world and doing YouTube full-time, I am now seriously questioning myself whether I've made the right decision to quit my job. And let me explain by going through the good and bad parts of being a YouTuber. First, the good part: freedom. The freedom of being a YouTuber is unmatched. And I mean freedom in so many dimensions. First, there's the physical freedom or geographical freedom. I can work on YouTube wherever I want and anytime I want. Nobody can tell me what to do. And this brings me to the creative freedom. I can work on whatever I want to work on. I can create a video exactly how I want to create it. There's nobody telling me what I need to do or how I need to do it. And it's such a great feeling when you have this idea or story in your mind and you can bring it to life and share it with the world exactly how you see it in your mind. But most importantly, there's the freedom of opportunities. And what I mean by this is that I can literally take my brand or my business, whatever you want to call it, and take it into any direction I want to. I mean, think about it. Once you have a personal brand or an online presence, there's so many ways you can build a business around this. Before the internet, you would usually build a product first and then find a market. But with YouTube, you build the market and then you can come up with any product you like. I just have to listen to my audience to see what they need. I could start a clothing line, I could write a book, I could develop an app, shoot documentaries and short movies. The possibilities are endless once you have an online presence. And this also brings me to a question for you. What is something you would like to see from me? What kind of product? Or better yet, what kind of problem can I solve for you? Let me know in the comments. And that freedom to do what you want brings me to the next part: fun. Another perk of being a YouTuber is the fun that comes with the creative process. Brainstorming, coming up with ideas for the video, then writing a script, shooting it, then editing it, and bringing it to life through my videos. But the best feeling is when I share it with the world and it has actually positively impacted someone, at least one person in this world. As a data analyst, I almost never really had a sense of bringing any real value to the world. I would get a thank you every once in a while from a manager for delivering a dashboard or report. That's it. So combine that with the fact that creating videos almost always feels like play to me. It feels like I never really have to work. I mean, of course, there are plenty of moments when it does feel a bit like work. When I'm working on a boring video, or maybe I'm doing a sponsored video with a tight deadline, it can feel like work sometimes. But I would say the work to play ratio is exactly the opposite of being a data analyst. When I was working my office job, most of the time it just felt like work, and every once in a while I would work on this cool project or dashboard and I would lose track of time and get into the flow, and then it would feel like play. But with YouTube, it's the other way around. It almost always feels like play to me, and every once in a while it does feel like work, because whatever you do, there's always some boring or tedious stuff you need to do. Then the next good part: the money. When my YouTube channel started growing, I obviously started earning more money through YouTube AdSense. And just to give you a picture of how much that can be, in December 2021, the last month before we started traveling, I earned about $500 through YouTube AdSense. Almost a year later, I earned about $6,500 through YouTube AdSense alone in 1 month. So that's more than a 10x increase in my monthly income in just 1 year. And on top of all the AdSense revenue, I still have sponsorships and affiliates, brands reaching out to sponsor my videos, like this one, Learn SQL, thank you. And as my channel is growing, cooler brands are reaching out, and as I get more views on my videos, I can also increase my rates. And if I extrapolate the current growth of my channel and my income, in a couple of months, somewhere this year, I should be earning more money through YouTube than I did with my freelance data analyst job. And that's the thing. As a data analyst, I wasn't able to earn more money. Well, I could. I have two options: either work more hours in a day or increase my hourly rate. But since it is a pretty competitive market out there, I don't have much room to increase my hourly rate. Meaning, the only option I had was to work more hours in a day and not have a life outside of my data analyst job. I was still trading time for money. But with YouTube, there is no upper limit. Let me blow your mind. When I create a video, it can be a money-making machine that will earn money for me every month for years on end, long after I've uploaded it. If it's a good video, it's basically like I've created this digital asset that lives in the digital world. To give you an example, last month, just one video brought in about $1,300. You know when I uploaded this video? More than half a year ago. That means something I've created more than half a year ago is still earning more than $1,000 every month, whether I create videos or not. This is the closest thing you can get to a passive income. And unlike my data analyst job, there is no limit to the amount of videos I can create. Of course, there's some kind of theoretical limit, but I can keep on pumping out videos, making quality videos, improving my videos, starting to earn me more and more and more money with every video I upload, for who knows how long. I have now disconnected my income from my input and I've tied it to my output, the value I provide to the world. And since you're watching this video, there must be some kind of value in it for you. If not, I'm sorry. So far, the good stuff about being a YouTuber. But being a YouTuber also has its challenges, and they are challenging. I can tell you. Challenges that make me doubt whether quitting my data analyst job to become a YouTuber was one of the biggest mistakes I've made. Let me explain. The bad stuff about being a YouTuber. One of the biggest challenges I have right now is insecurity. First, there's the financial insecurity. And although I just told you how the sky is the limit when it comes to earning money on YouTube, and that the projection is that I will somewhere this year earn more money than I did with as a data analyst, it's still just a projection. I'm not there yet. In fact, I'm earning way less money right now than I did as a data analyst. On top of that, being a YouTuber is a financial roller coaster. Monthly income depends on the highly unpredictable performance of any of your videos. One month you could have a viral hit and thousands of views, and meaning thousands of dollars of income, but the next month you could have a dramatical dip in the amount of views because of some algorithm change or trends changing, or your videos just not performing how you think they would perform. And this inconsistency often gives me a feeling of insecurity that I just didn't have while I was working as a data analyst. I just had a steady monthly paycheck every single month. But next to this financial insecurity, there's also the insecurity of the platform itself. There's always this thought in the back of my mind that YouTube could kick me off the platform tomorrow. No questions asked. And that would mean that I would lose all my income, everything. Zero income. I mean, there's a small chance of that happening as long as I don't do something extremely stupid, but still, there is a chance. It feels like something I don't have complete control over. And another thing I don't have control over is the algorithm. It truly is a black box. Sometimes I create what I think is gonna be a banger video and it brings in almost no views. And sometimes a random video of mine just blows up and goes semi-viral. So I try to analyze what works and what doesn't work. But then I often ask myself, am I creating this video because I want to create it? Or because it's something that the algorithm favors and is going to push out to more people? Am I creating for myself or am I creating for the algorithm? So sometimes it feels like I've replaced working for a manager for working for the algorithm. Of course, I'm aware of this and I try to stay true to myself and remind myself why I started creating videos in the first place. Plus, I try to diversify my brand on other platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and soon I'll have my own website and newsletter. But still, this feeling of insecurity always ringers. And this control of the algorithm also brings me to the next bad part of being a YouTuber, the existential anxiety. In short, I often find myself thinking, what the fuck am I actually doing? For whom am I creating these videos? What am I talking about? What is my niche? Do I talk about data analysis? Is it about financial freedom, travel, cinematic storytelling, combination of all of the above? And these are all kinds of questions that I just didn't have to ask myself working as a data analyst. I just did what was asked of me, and that's it, very simple. But as a YouTuber, I get confronted with these deep existential questions constantly. And this was just something I wasn't expecting when I started YouTube. And one of those deep existential questions was the one that I asked myself in the beginning of this video. Was my data analyst job actually a dream job that I regret quitting? Yes and no. On paper, it was a dream job. It's intellectually challenging, you get to express your creativity through dashboards, and the pay was really high. And I know a lot of people would do anything for such a job. So sometimes I almost feel guilty for quitting that job. Almost. Because I don't feel guilty. I think I would have felt more guilty if I would have kept on working a job that isn't aligned with my core values and I had a shot at creating a living doing something that is aligned with my core values. YouTube. Being a YouTuber is completely aligned with my core values. It brought me so much freedom, creativity, adventure, freedom of time so I could spend it on health and family. And of course, there's the wealth part that I'm working on. Yes, it comes with insecurity. And yes, I have the occasional existential crises. And yes, I experienced the roller coasters of entrepreneurship with the highest highs and the lowest lows, but it's all worth it because living a life that is completely aligned with your core values is invaluable. So do I regret quitting my data analyst job? No. Do I regret becoming a data analyst in the first place? Also no. It was all part of the journey. Becoming a data analyst has brought me where I am today. So no, I don't regret becoming a data analyst. Even though I left data analysis never left me. Jesus, that was... But it's true. Even though I'm not a data analyst professionally anymore, I'm a data analyst personally. I use data analysis in my day-to-day life. The analytical skills I've acquired, I use when buying plane tickets while traveling the world, or when I'm investing into crypto or stocks, and even for my YouTube channel. I love to dive into the YouTube analytics and then find out that 80% of the people that watches my videos is not subscribed to me. See you in the next video, if you're subscribed. Cheers.